I believe it. You ever find yourself playing Destiny and think, man, I wish this game was harsher on the eyes? Or play Roblox and think, what if it was a looter shooter? Man, have I got the game for you. So, as some of you, okay, maybe one of you, may know, I am drawn to the fringe, odd, and unknown and underrated dredges of gaming. That wasteland where the experimental, cheap, and weird intersect, I love window shopping in. Most of the time, the games I find are not very good. Then there's the occasional gem. Looking at Blocked and Loaded, one would pass it off as little more than an unpolished turd. Turns out, though, it's a diamond in the rough. The really, really rough. At least to the eyes. Then you put it in your hand, and it's actually silly putty that looks like diamond. It's cheap, literally $2 American, and it's fun. Really, what more could you ask for? It lauds itself as an MMOFPSRPG, and surprisingly, it actually is. In the same sense that Destiny is an MMO, where each zone is instanced for multiple players, though connection is peer-to-peer. Upon entering an area, the game will search for any present players to host it. For $2, you get a decent, blocky world full of blocky, handmade assets where every texture, icon, etc. is quite literally made in MS Paint. So, despite its objectively rough appearance, the game just oozes a certain level of charm. This does carry over to the dozens of weapons, items, animations, enemies, etc. Everything is chunky and simple, and I frankly wouldn't have it any other way. It can run on virtually any system. Oh, and to top that all off, the soundtrack, particularly for the towns, absolutely slaps. It gave me such nostalgia for 90s era games, which its dreamy soundscape making me think most of Glover for some reason. I'm not sure if the developer, who coded the game himself with XNA for the networking, made the music as well, but if he did, kudos to you. So, what exactly is there in terms of content? What do you do? Who are you? Who? Well, you stand as the lone survivor of a battle that, frankly, didn't go well. You wake up, orient yourself, loot your buddy's body, and bam! Zombies come bursting through the wall. You blast them, learning fairly early that merely holding down the fire button continuously is actually a bad thing to do. In this game, you don't have ammo at all. Instead, you have a heat meter. Firing your weapon will fill said meter by a certain amount out of 100. Each weapon will have a heat stat that tells you how much of that it will fill per shot. Heat itself does decrease at a decent pace, and does begin to do so right away, unless of course you fill the meter and overheat it. Then you're almost completely defenseless for several seconds as you wait for the heat meter to recover. Even switching weapons won't help you, as this heat meter applies globally to all your weapons. Note the keyword almost. See, you get two other pieces of active equipment called gadgets. These operate on individual cooldowns and can range from blasting some ice projectiles, the gadget you get alongside your first gun, to blasting fireballs, to invulnerability, to instant revives for downed players, to instant cooldowns for your guns, and more. So anyway, back to the tutorial. You've got your gun, and you've got your gadget, and you've got two zombies you've now killed. Moving on, you, slaughter some more. Eventually you reach the boss, a big boy zombie that is rather fond of vomiting hefty globs of ghastly goop that deals some major damage, as well as slowing you down. Circle strafe your way around it, blasting till it's gone, and you're good to move on. Next stop, home. Home is where your storage is. I think that's how the saying goes, right? It also has the softest music track in the game. Here you can store stuff in your chest, decorate it with blocks made from materials from different zones, and you can even put various crafting stations for weapons, gadgets, etc. They are expensive, but honestly, they really make them worth it. There's also the option to open your home up for other players to visit. I mean, there's only so much you can do with it, but neat anyway. Leaving your home, you come to the first safe playfield for you to explore, the Forest Path. This consists of a few NPCs, a soccer field that puts Rocket League to shame, and entrances to Dead Town, Hope City, and the home sharing space. All that and such a lovely, almost nostalgic melody, an oral assault of beautiful compositions forged by the angels themselves. The rest of the music is still serviceable to decent, but the music in the save zones? Easily the best in the game. Back to the game itself though. In this first zone, you have a few quests you can take, one of which is nice and easy. Quests will generally give you coins and occasionally some loot. For this first one, there's one guy next to the soccer field that is just so bored. His words, not mine. That he wants you to score a goal. You don't need to be playing with anyone else. Just kick the ball in the goal. Easy enough. Next is where I made my first mistake. Well, if you can really call it that. So I made my way to the city, and then decided to head out and head through Deadtown, and the subsequent forest biome, culminating in a spinning skull boss that gave me quite a bit of loot before returning home. Turns out I had to do it again. I made the mistake of not heading into the Hope City's castle, where the king awaited to give me a quest to take down the skull I'd already defeated. Thankfully, returning to any new instanced playfield instantly respawns all defeated enemies. So if you return and a player is already hosting an instance, you'll be stepping into whatever progress they've made for that area. The city itself is a decent size and hosts the most NPCs, with a nice market area to sell loot, transform materials into blocks, buy new items, etc. The castle and the courtyard, with the king, access to other biomes and some other NPCs to sell potions and crafting implements, and a PvP arena. Each of the 4 biomes have their own arena, with an infinitely repeatable quest to collect opponents' eyeballs. The PvP in this game is purely an infinite free-for-all. But it's a decent diversion, albeit inherently unbalanced, as there is no matchmaking of any kind. Not that there are really players available for such a system anyway. Ultimately, the gameplay loop will consist of talk to biome's leader, extra quests from NPCs, enter the biome's proper playfield, progress through with a side dungeon available in each, kill boss, and move on, looting all along the way. This will be the process for the forest, the desert, the Arctic, and the volcanic, or magma fields, locations. It's simple, but it's clean. And for $2, I got more than my money's worth. I can appreciate the decent amount of variety with everything too. The game touts 150 plus weapons, armor, gadgets, etc., and it really shows. Pistols, shotguns, SMGs, rifles, and even rocket launchers, all with randomized damage, plus different numbers of additional stat adjustments according to rarity, a staple of looter shooters. This goes for armor, which determines your appearance in life, and gadgets too. These stats are also able to be upgraded each time you level. There are 24 in total, each capable of going to a maximum of 75. These stats include Resourceful, kills reduce cooldowns, Vampirism, kill to heal, Vibrant, pickups heal, Lucky, chance of finding better items, Thorns, melee attacks reflect some damage back to enemies, Toughness, damage resistance, Fidgeter, faster consumable use, Tinkerer, reduce gadget cooldown, Blessed, chance to reincarnate, Restorate, health regen, Glutton, more health from food, Buffy, longer buff times, Dodge, chance for enemy ranged attacks to miss, Fortune, higher item find chance, Greedier, gold find chance, Quickness, movement speed, Vitality, health, Light, less darkness, which the game's not exactly dark, so this one always feels kind of pointless, Accuracy, closer bullets, Clever, gadgets heal you on use, Medic, faster team revival, Force, overall damage, Magnetic, item pickup radius, and Lifesteal, percent of damage heals you. By the time I finished what could be considered the main game though, I'd only reached level 8, hardly enough to even scratch the surface of a proper build. You can, however, reset your level to 1 and try again. I thought that the bitter potion would refund the points that I had spent, but no, I really was just starting from square one again. So, what next? Well, in my infinite wisdom, I scoured the land for what I was meant to do next. Where's the endgame? I was told to return to the king, but he just spouts the same dialogue he's been saying. What do I do? What do I do? Oh, there's a secret passage right there. For some reason, I just figured I'd gone through the gate before, and I just kind of glossed over the obvious sign, not unlike when I'm being flirted with. So the endgame area is filled with a myriad of NPCs, most of which selling weapons, skins, etc. for medals. There's even a triple XP potion. Medals are earned from completing endgame challenges, and some of these things you can get are absolutely beautiful, mechanically speaking. No heat pistols? Count me in. Although, in retrospect, they're just really, really low heat, but still very useful. How hard could it be to earn them? Oh. Kinda hard. Really hard. Well, at least if I'm sticking to this first challenge here. Your first challenge to clear, which you must clear to unlock the rest, is a boss rush. Normally in other games these are, just one after the other, but no, not here. In Blocked and Loaded, you have to beat all 5 bosses at once. Angry Skull, King Block Tut, the worm thing from Dune, an Optimus Prime cosplayer, and the Angry Bat. Needless to say, I got bodied. Hard. Turns out you can significantly buff yourself with block corn buffs, but that involved planting and waiting for it to grow, so unless you got a hold of it earlier, you're not going to have some immediate access. The block corn buffs are worthwhile, however, in the long run. You get 3 options. A 2% bonus to all stats with the soup, a 5% bonus to force, toughness, and quickness with the spicy corn block, and with the roasted corn block, a 5% bonus to greed, fortune, and lucky, respectively. Okay, so what else is there? A guy selling 45 minutes of hard mode? That seems to be the only way to get better gear for now. Basically, you're going to be going through the biomes with the newly acquired hard mode buff, and you'll be going and fighting the same zombies, bleed-inducing beast things, robots, worms, and slider spiders all over again, but this time with some challenge. Hard mode doubles the damage you take, but halves the damage you do. It also earns you medals from going back through and beating the bosses and outposts that you've already done, which is nice. You can also take 3 infinitely repeatable quests for hard mode, which get you 500 coins each, and involve killing 99 zombies, 50 robots, and 33 worms. This is because you're collecting certain materials from them. The zombies get you 1 of each, the robots get you 2 of each, and the worms get you 3 each. So, thankfully, you don't actually have to go and kill 99 of the tankiest enemy in the game. And earning the 500 gold from these quests, even just one of them, is enough to reinitiate the hard mode buff, so it pays off in the long run. Easily, it's the most reliable source of income. All things considered, overall, Blocked and Loaded is some of the best $2 I've ever spent. It's nothing revolutionary, to be sure, but it's a lot of fun. It isn't without its issues, however. Really, these are the only 2 problems I've had. 1, the game starts in an incredibly tiny window. While in the options you can set it to full screen, I prefer playing in windowed when I stream for the sake of easy viewing of chat, as I only have 1 monitor. Adjusting the window size seems to have a 50-50 chance of crashing the game. Shame. 2, the audio seems to have issues once in a while, cutting out and crackling for random amounts of time, and mainly in the left audio channel. I tested on both my headphones and my speakers to confirm that it isn't my hardware. Oh, and 3, a bonus problem. This one is extra tiny, but the weapons have 1 single sound effect that they all share. This means the rocket launcher will sound the exact same as a pistol. Pretty sure that's not how they work. In spite of these 2 main issues plus 1 small issue, the game is more than worth your time. If you can get past the graphics, you're in for a decent bit of simple fun. I've also read that the developer is currently working on a sequel, so I'm honestly hopping right on board once I see it come up. A one-man team gave me plenty of enjoyment here, and here's to hoping you can experience the same. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. This has been Phrieksho's Take.